Hey you guys, I'm super excited to bring you this little mini that I created using Marion Smith's Digi-Downloads. This is the Something Wicked book that's for Halloween. And she has a couple of different add-ons that I didn't get, but they go really well with this album, like their little envelopes and things like that. So I'll put a link down below to where they're located in her store so that you can easily access them. This would be a super cute mini to document Halloween costumes from years past to years forward. It would also be super cute for your trick-or-treat photos for this year. If you're going to a Halloween party, maybe documenting that. Really cute stuff. And Marion had a couple of ideas too in her video for things like remembering your favorite candy that you used to get from trick-or-treating and things like that. So I'll put a link to Marion's video also down below. This is super easy to put together. I just used my Bind It All, and you know, it came together in just a couple of hours. Really super cute mini. So on the cover, what's going on is this is one of the downloads that's in the kit. And I thought whenever I saw Witch's Brew, I always think of witches and crystals and things like that. So I decided to add this little crystal charm on the side, which happens to be a Christmas tree ornament that I got cheap. It's like a couple dollars at dollar stores or whatever. You know, just look in the cheap Christmas ornaments. They make really great dangles for the side of your books. And then I just added some lace that I ripped, and just to kind of give it that like little gothic torn look to it. And then these are just some fibers with some sparkly stuff in it. And then this is just a little resin frame that I used since it was the same color as the paper. I thought it would just add a little dimension, and it kind of frames out the bat that's here. And then down at the bottom, I don't know if you can see the glitter or not, but I added some clear nail polish to the bubbles that were coming up out of the cauldron, and the nail polish had like glitter in it. This is a great way to add glitter to your projects without it rubbing off and getting all over your finger. It dries relatively quick, so you don't have to wait for it overnight or anything like that. So there's a little tip for you. I used black chipboard for my covers, and like I said, I just bound it with the Bind It All. And then on the side, I love to close up my little mini albums. I love these little closures, and they're getting really hard to find. These are Marion Smith's trinkets, and they come with this little dangle one here, and I just slipped it through the, you know, these little gator clip kind of things that come with the, it's part of the set. And then there's also a little tassel that comes with it too. But these are Marion's trinkets, and I absolutely love them. And I have literally every store I go to where I find them, I buy them up, and I've got lots of them in my hoard vault, because honestly, when they quit selling these, I'm going to be devastated, because I absolutely love them. So Marion, if you watch this video, we need some more of these. I absolutely love these itty bitty clips for my mini albums. And then on the back cover, I used another one of the Digi-Downloads, and I love how it looks like a book that's been ripped up back here. So just love this. So you can kind of see one of the other patterns here in the background. Love it, love it, love it. Anyway, so on the inside, I used, you know, again, I repeated one of the patterns here on the side. I really love these little black and white ones. And the cool thing is even though this is a download for a Halloween album, these downloads could easily be used for other books and other purposes, because they don't have any Halloween rhetoric on them. So I really like that about this Digi-Download. And then this is one of the this is the statue page. I left a lot of my pages empty because I wanted room for photographs to go here. And the book's finished size is about 5.5 by 7. So a nice 3 by 5 photo would definitely go here. This would also be perfect for your little Instagram photographs. So let me keep going. Now, some of these pages I accidentally had my printer set to black and white and didn't realize it, and printed out like a bunch of pages, but I kept them because I think it adds a different look to this. So this one was printed in black and white. Every time I do one of these little minis, I get people ask me what printer I have. I have an HP laser printer, and I have an inkjet, and I use both of them depending on, you know, which one has ink or toner. And I also use Georgia Pacific 110-pound bond that you can get from Walmart. This side is, you know, like a little journal that's really neat. And then these are old vintage Prima flowers. Let me pull it up so you can see them. See how cute they are? I had a tube of these that I had done a project with back, I don't know, well, the project date on it was 2004. So these are vintage Prima. And these are just some little buttons that I had in my stash. Excuse me. I think I'm getting a cold. My voice is going. But these are just some little Halloween buttons. And then this is just it was just a regular old library card. And I just stamped Trick or Treat on here. And then these tickets were made from the Tim Holtz die. These were the bottoms of the pages where I cut them off, where I double-sided it. So don't throw those scraps out. They make great journal spots. I left them in here because I'm going to give this book to my daughter, and she can use this to add some extra journal spots to the bottoms of some photographs or things. So I just double-sided them so that they had a nice look to them, and they're really thick this way and very sturdy. And then there's the green one with the gray backing. And then I just made some tags and stuck them in here. This is just some bloomers. And the trim that's up here is actually yarn. It was white yarn. And I dyed it with some of my Ranger stains. The distress stains. I used picket fence and forest moss. And I love how it looks like moss. I just love it. It took a long time for that to dye because of the fibers that were in the cotton, and it took a long time for it to dry, but when it did, I had a whole skein of this awesomely dyed mossy looking fibers. And then on this side, I just used one of my Spellbinders dies to cut out a frame, and this is actually scrap paper that I had in my stash, but the polka dots kind of go with this theme. And then on this side, I had somebody give me a bunch of these bright orange envelopes, and I was like, don't throw those away. They were going to throw them away. I'm like, no, don't throw them away. I'll use them for something. And literally, they've been around for a long time. So I used them in this book. I think I call it Home Depot Orange. That's what it reminds me of. But this is one of my new Spellbinders dies, and it's just like a little Polaroid. I just cut it out of some craft paper. This is one of my new Timmy silhouette dies, and I just kind of stuffed her in there. And then this is the ornate plate from the tag, the large tag, and then one of Timmy's little branches, tree branches. And then, of course, more of those Prima flowers that came from that tube. I love those. Love them, love them. They have skeletons on them. So, let's see on the other side. This is where the envelope opens. And I put one of the trees on there because it does kind of help keep that closed down. It weights that flap down, and it kind of gives it a little support too. So this is one of Tim's trees, and then I added a bunch of this hot glue strings and stuff like that over the lace. And then on this side, this was a piece that I accidentally cut wrong, so I ended up cutting it down and using it for just an extra, little flappy journal spot. And then I used, these are some more of those vintage Prima tube flowers, and then one of Tim's little birds that I cut into a crow. And then this is just paper. This is all part of the kit. And then just a little tag. And again, these are part of the kit. This is another envelope that I just put a frame on and a little turkey feather, and then nested a couple of flowers and put some some of this fishnet, like lacy scrap is what it is. And then on this side, I have I used the ornate plate like a frame and put the silhouette in there for the guy, and just some regular flowers. And again, it's just an envelope. This actually came from one of Marion's other digi-downloads, but I had it as a scrap, so I thought it went well with this kind of theme, and it gave a nice little tag to throw into this spot. This is a file folder that was on my desk, and when I had stamped it, I had over-stamped it or something, and it didn't look good. So I just added some red paint to it and some distressing, and I really like how it looks kind of mysterious now, so I threw it in here. I never throw anything away. Even like when I mess up, I don't throw it away. It goes in a pile, and somehow it always gets used. So that's what I did, and I just used some red stains and stuff on that. Another tag, some washi tape. Marion has this washi tape in her store. And I have the little bats. And then over here I took these 2 pages and I folded them together and then folded this back and then dripped some of that red paint down too to just kind of carry it off to the next page. And just included a couple of tickets. These are just left over from the scraps of paper. It's just a fun way to add a different look to this book. And I love that these little fibers stick out of the book too on the edges. Then over here, this is another piece that I had messed up that I had cut in half. It's from that same paper. And so I just covered it with some lace down here at the bottom and a little bit of trim that's sequency and shiny. And then I cut the Baroque die so that it opens up like a little booklet. So there's lots of room here for extra pictures. And this kind of reminds me of a tombstone. So then I put one of the Tim Holtz big tickets. And then on this tag that's in this pocket, I cut, this is one of the large Prima leaves that I cut the top out to make a small leaf, and then I cut it in half and it made these, they look kind of like bat wings to me. So I really like how that turned out, and I like how they stick out from the back as well. So there's that. And there's so much room for extra stuff in these little half pockets like this, and I like how the pocket's free floating. Then on this side, this is another pocket that is an envelope that I'd cut and trimmed out with some lace. And then these are some of those glassine bags. They kind of remind me of candy bags, so I put them in there so she could trap some extra things in there. And then this is one of those 4x6 photo sleeves, so she can slip a photo in here. But I think this actually gives a little bit of stability to this little flap too. And she can put whatever she wants to in there. A 4x6 photo would fit nicely on here for sure. These are all part of the downloads. And again, printing them in gray kind of helped. Now this is full color, but these pages like this that you see in gray, those were all accidents that instead of throwing them out, I used them and I just embraced it. Then this is the old jalopy, and again, this is just a piece of scrap from where I had trimmed some paper down, and I just folded it across to the other side and made 2 little pockets for tickets and things like that. These are tickets from where I printed the thing. You know, I trimmed it down. I trimmed one of the pages down, so I just cut some tickets out of the scraps. It's a great way to use up your scraps in the same mini album. And then that's the image I used on the cover. Another tag. These are great for those little 2x2 photographs. And this was just a doily laying on my desk, and it just kind of worked. And I glued it down so there's a pocket back here where she can stick a tag, and then maybe a circular photograph here. And then here's another tag. And then this is just a transparency that I had printed for something else. It's another one of Marion's Digi Downloads. But I thought it made a nice little gothic frame that would hang right here. So if she put a photograph on this page behind here, it would kind of offer a nice little frame. So look at some of her other Digi Downloads if you've bought them, that they may complement these albums. And then down here, these were just some scraps left over from a Tim Holtz paper, and it's like a little blocks of numbers, so I just kind of stapled them down here, and it says 1031. And then this is just a piece of netting that I ripped with my scissors, so it has holes all through it, and I used it as a pocket, so I could put tags and stuff like that in there. And then there's just some little washi tape, and that's the other side. And I like how it kind of diffuses this a little bit, but it's an unexpected addition. So you could definitely, it's flat enough to where it could be a nice layer over a photograph too. So, or under a photograph, under or over, either way. So, and I have it kind of tied off down here at the bottom so it sticks out at the bottom. But that's my little mini, and I really enjoyed playing with this. I'm not usually a big Halloween person, but this was super cute, and Brittany wanted to use it. She's got some ideas for this little book. So thank you guys, and I hope you've enjoyed it, and go check out Marion's Digi Downloads. They're awesome and fun to work with, and they have this really nice you know, I like how they can be interacted with each other so that you are constantly, you know, building on your project. So it makes your investment even more worth it, because now you can take, you know, I can interact several of these Digi Downloads to make a book. So thanks a lot, and thank you guys. I hope you have a nice day.